Welcome back to Inside the Ring, boxing's official show of record. I'm your host, Max Kellerman. Joining me to my right, he's back. Former heavyweight contender, good for at least 3 curse words per show, Chris Arreola. And to my left, little Mike Coppinger. What's going on with you today? Little Mikey. Little Mikey.
Little ball Mikey.
See, this is like a setup. You telling me, your chair is low.
You're at the big boy table now.
It, and then it goes lower.
I can sit on top of the ball.
It's like Thanksgiving and you have like the kids at the kids table. What's going on with this chair?
Yeah, no.
I gotta mess this
Now,
up.
now you gotta behave yourself. Now you little. All right. 2
mics left. That's good to get smaller. To Mike's left, that is former all-decade NFL running back Shady McCoy.
Give me some good luck.
It is time
Give me some good
for
luck.
the lead hook.
Here we go.
The Ring Magazine heavyweight champion of the whole wide world, Oleksandr Usyk. All-time great pound-for-pound fighter, all-time great heavyweight. He's going to defend that title after he beat Dubois twice, Fury twice, Joshua twice. He's going to defend his title. Look, he's entitled to not fight, the top killer in the heavyweight division. But it's super interesting, guys. He's defending against the undisputed heavyweight kickboxing champ, Rico Verhoeven. Okay? Now, this is the site of the fight, the Pyramids of Giza. But I think it's super interesting. This is the type of thing that would happen in Rocky 3, right? Mickey's trying to get Rocky a payday at some point. He put him in with Thunder Lips, right? All right, it's going to be Verhoeven's second professional boxing match. But guys, Verhoeven is 6'5", 270, and he is like the dominant champion in kickboxing. I used to watch kickboxing all the time.
Yeah.
Growing up, if there was no boxing on TV way before the UFC, they'd like ESPN to have kickboxing on. I used to watch it, right? Chris, you have fought. Now look, it is not boxing, it's kickboxing. And I always wonder,
total difference.
at least when I was a kid, they used to have rules in kickboxing where if you didn't throw, I want to say 5 kicks around, they deduct a point. Which makes me think if it was an advantage to kick in that scenario, you wouldn't have to incentivize people to kick. Obviously, they felt it wasn't in some way, right? So it's not exactly boxing. On the other hand, and this is at the highest level, he is a long-reigning dominant champion. You fought at the highest level in the heavyweight division, Chris. What are your thoughts about this?
First of all, you can't teach size. You can't teach 6'5", 270. You can't teach that, all right? Second of all, whether it's kickboxing or boxing, he still has a pedigree of fighting. He knows what it's like to get hit. And those kicks ain't no joke. I'd rather get punched than kicked. Right. So he must have a good chin or a good body work. So I'm looking forward just to see what Usyk could do against a lesser opponent. He probably should end up within 2 to 3 rounds.
The thing about Usyk is, guys, he takes things seriously, right? Now, we saw Tyson Fury almost lose to Ngannou. That would have been embarrassing. He clearly didn't train for the fight, right? We saw Anthony Joshua go a bunch of rounds with Jake Paul. And, if it was Anthony Joshua fighting Verhoeven, I might say, let's see. It's Usyk, Mike. Yeah. It's Usyk. What do you think of the fight?
Yeah, and it was originally looking like it was going to be Joshua and Verhoeven. And that was before Joshua fought Jake Paul and decided he didn't want to do another training camp so soon after. This is even before, he had that tragic car accident. But, look, I think it's interesting, and I obviously, Max, as you like to say, we know who we work for, right? But this is a spectacle. And Usyk, like Chris said, if anybody deserves a fight where they don't have to fight the very best, it's Usyk. He's going to take a fun fight. This isn't a wrestler. He's fighting a guy that knows how to stand up. No one's suggesting that Usyk's going to lose this fight. But Usyk has effectively cleaned out the heavyweight division. Obviously there's a Guy Caballel there who I'm a fan of, and Fabio Warley, but there's always going to be new guys that come around.
No, I disagree. I would phrase it differently, Shady. I wouldn't say he's cleaned out the division, but I would say this. If a guy moves up to a division, as Usyk did, as the undisputed champion, wins another he's undisputed at heavyweight, and you beat Fury twice, Joshua twice, Dubois twice. Right. Yep. You are entitled to what we used to call an in-between fight, as long as you're staying active. Yeah. He's 38 years old, etc. So then the question becomes, in your in-between fight, is it something interesting? Right? If you're going to take a softer touch, is it something interesting? I find it as a human being, find it super interesting that he's fighting the undisputed kickboxing champion as something out of Rocky 3, right? In front of the pyramids. It's interesting.
However you dressed up, I like that. Because I love Bruce Lee, right? And I love Mike Tyson. If I could put them together, I'd like to see it, but we know the outcome.
No, you don't want to see it.
No, I'm not real talk. The thing is, I would say
No,
it's
real
about
talk. You
Usyk.
don't want to see Mike Tyson against Bruce Lee.
Yeah, I love Bruce Lee.
You know what Mike Tyson would do to Bruce Lee?
I mean, but it doesn't sound good. Be water. It sounds better.
He'd be blood, not water, brother.
All I think about this fight is, he deserves it though, right? When I say deserve it, it's an easy payday, right? He fights some warriors. I think where his resume is right now, he's fought them top guys we talked about, not once but twice. And I think he deserves this. So get an in-between type of fight. We talked about Crawford, the things that Crawford's done, beat Canelo. Who would he fight next? And we say, hey man, you beat the hell out of Spence, you beat the hell out of Canelo. You deserve the right to get an easy payday somewhere, somehow. So I don't mind that because we know what type of fighter he really is. I think he does this fight. He wins in the first 3 rounds, whatever it may be. And then we might get a bigger fight with somebody next. But it's not wrong with this.
I just hope Verhoeven shows up though. Meaning,
he gonna show up.
I hope he shows up to fight and he shows up to win.
Yeah,
Verhoeven fights.
That's what I really want.
He will fight. I think a prideful guy like that is gonna do his best.
Yeah. Yeah, look, none of us here are kickboxing experts, but I used to watch a lot of kickboxing K1 on ESPN back in my day, not in the 80s.
Yeah, I watched in the 80s, guys.
And look, this guy, from everyone I talk to, and Todd Grisham he does commentary, obviously for DAZN, all the big fights here, and he does it for also Glory. And he says Rico is a really incredible kickboxer. But apparently he's like one of the greatest heavyweight kickboxers of all time.
Yep.
So there is pedigree there. But I want to get back real quick, Max, to what we were talking about in cleaning out the heavyweight division. Yes, there are still guys there, but can't you say that there's always going to be somebody there that,
And therefore, if you haven't beaten them all, you haven't cleaned them out.
Right, but by the time he's done beating them.
No, there are fights. Like, for example, if Usyk fought at least 3 times a year, and he took out Wardley and Atama and Caballel, then you could legitimately say he's cleaned it out, right?
Yeah.
But that you don't need to not take an in-between fight until you've cleaned it out.
Right.
As long as you are relatively active and not ducking guys, you're entitled to fight a guy who's not the biggest killer in your division, especially if you want to make a big event. Who does he make a bigger event right now and also get his kind of gimme, his in-between fight?
That's exactly it, Max. And look, you and I both know Usyk. He is a very respectful guy. He has a lot of respect for boxing. He would definitely fight Caballel and Wardley. But there's just not much money in those fights for him right now. He's at the point of his career. He wants mega fights. He deserves it. He's the pound-for-pound king.
He's earned it.
He's an international star. And this is the biggest event for him. You're right.
We gave a lot of passes to Canelo. We gave passes to Mayweather. Usyk deserves it. He deserves to get one of those easy fights.
If anyone
and
does.
Not easy. It's not easy, but
it's gonna be easy. This brother kickbox. Usyk kick ass, right? I'm telling you right now, don't let them lines be close.
Yeah, let me tell you something.
I'm gonna empty the count.
I've seen Verhoeven because once this fight got made, I checked him out a little bit. His hand game looks like 52 hand blocks, guys, which is, 52 hand blocks. You're a slap box in the neighborhood. But that came out of the prisons, right? Like 52 hand blocks, close range fighting and stuff. And you see it in the street a lot. As Giza said on Liquid Swords, therefore your 52 hand blocks is useless. That stuff ain't going to work against the best heavyweight in the world. If he comes into the fight with the hand block stuff, Usyk is going to do what he pleases. But he is a 270-pound dude.
But you know what it be though for me, man. Like watching different when McGregor fought Floyd, right? People thought it was competitive, whatever it is. But this simple things like his hands is always down because if you watch him in the UFC, his hands is always down. Right. If Floyd really took it serious, it could be in 2 rounds and he knocked him out. So these guys, when you're not a boxer, it's just different.
It comes down to preparation.
Yeah, and I hope you don't throw no kicks because it's
second nature.
Muscle memory. You might just
it is.
Yeah. And one thing I want to add here is that Verhoeven, he was highly sought after. He was leaving Glory, he was known. He's been open about this. He was in talks to join UFC until Turki Al-Sheikh came in and said, here's a fight. And so I think it's great for him, and it's great for Usyk. Usyk's a guy that we all like. He deserves to be celebrated. I'm happy for him.
Guys, I've been into boxing since I was a little kid. And all I could tell you is this is the type of thing where when I was a kid, I might catch sports reporters, or maybe it wasn't as big, but some kind of talk show talking about some kind of gimmicky fight, right? And Muhammad Ali fought a Japanese wrestler, Yoki, and he got kicked in the legs a lot. And I remember all the writers used to lament, oh my God, this is a farce and this and that. And as a kid, I was like, yo, what are they talking about? This is interesting. If there's some little kid there watching this show right now, and we're talking about the undisputed kickboxing champion who's much bigger than the boxing heavyweight champion, I'm interested. There's a long history of fighters who started in kickboxing and went on to have a lot of success in boxing. Let me give a few names. How about Vitaly Klitschko?
Kick my ass.
Vitaly Klitschko is, by the way, Vitaly Klitschko was never behind at the end of every professional fight he ever had. He was always up on every scorecard. Think about that for a
Including
second.
Lennox Lewis, yeah.
He got stopped on cuts against Lennox. He was up on the cards. He had to stop against Bird. He threw out his shoulder.
That's
He was
real.
up on the cards. He was never down on the cards at the end of any fight. Kickboxer. Dillian White started in kickboxing. Jarrell Miller, big baby, started in kickboxing.
He probably here for a year or two.
Got the hair
No, he
kicked
was a
off
good
his head,
kickboxer.
apparently.
He was a good kickboxer.
He was a kickboxer, yeah.
I would have never known.
By
He's a good
the way,
boxer, though.
Olympic
Great
super
boxer.
heavyweight gold medalist Alexander Povetkin. Chris Algieri, who is a good fighter, by the way, fought with Manny Pacquiao.
Yep.
Hell of a broadcaster now. Chris
Yeah.
Algieri, kickboxer. Caleb Plant. Troy Dorsey,
Plant? Okay.
kickboxer. Remember Troy Dorsey and Kevin Kelly had an incredible fight. There are lots of kickboxers who've made the transition. And, look, I'm not trying to hype it up.
Yeah,
This
yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Well, this guy,
Yes, you are.
If Usyk takes this fight seriously, Verhoeven has no shot. I'm telling you, there's no way he's going to be.
that's true.
If he takes the fight seriously. But we have seen boxers like Floyd Mayweather and Tyson Fury not be prepared for the fight. This
Usyk
guy
ain't that
is
guy.
270
Nah, he's not that guy.
pounds.
Usyk's not that guy, though.
If you, man,
And he already has a professional fight.
I will come drop kick you. Stop this. We know how it's going to go. If they train or don't train, Usyk's going to win.
Yes.
Guaranteed.
And if he trains or doesn't train, Usyk's going to win.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't train, maybe it could be interesting.
Okay.
Right?
But he will train.
Yeah.
But he will train.
Brother is
So
270?
Different.
my prediction for the fight, pain. You know, look, this will be spectacular. It's spectacle, right? Yeah. The backdrop will look like something out of a
that's
video
dope.
game,
Yeah, that's
right?
dope. Yeah, that's
Like
sick.
Street Fighter
That's
2.
sick.
But why Egypt? Why Egypt? Why is that the site for the fight?
Well,
Neither guy is Egyptian.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a close relationship between Saudi Arabia and Egypt, and I think that plays into it, obviously. And again, Turki Al-Sheikh likes to do big events at spectacle locations, right?
And the
there was
backdrop.
Times Square last May.
Yeah.
There was a lot of talk about Alcatraz, as we know.
I like it.
Yeah, I do like that.
And
outside the box.
Make the location part of the character.
Right. It's like
or
Street
a
Fighter.
character
Yeah.
It's like
in the
Street
fight.
Fighter.
Like,
Yeah.
that's what I said.
Yeah,
It's
Street
Street
Fighter.
Fighter
Yeah, like
2,
that.
man.
Yep.
And one thing I want to note is, look, obviously we know that Usyk is going to win as long as everything goes according to plan.
Right.
But I give Rico this: kickboxing is not UFC or wrestling. He's not doing different stances. It's not like he's an expert at wrestling. He's an expert at stand-up fighting.
Yeah.
Does
Yeah,
that mean
but
he's
I'm
going?
just, when I say 52 hand blocks, I say that for a reason. He uses a kind of hand blocking style which will work, but not against a highly trained professional
Right.
boxer.
Hey, Zab Jr.
right?
used it to pretty good effect in a lot of fights.
By the way, I've never seen Yoel do it, but I'll bet you Yoel got 52 hand blocks.
Zab
sure
used
he
to
does.
Zab used to do
Yeah.
for real.
Yeah.
though.
Always, yeah.
But
100% that guy
like
is.
he's going to need he needs 104 hand blocks
Yeah.
against Usyk. Forget about 52.
That makes sense now. Zab must have learned it from his father.
Yeah,
who was a
of course.
kickboxer.
Facts. You would.
But now, growing up though, no, you always be like, well, what's up then? You start doing this.
That's an imitation.
That's why I love Zab though, because Zab be like,
yeah,
Yo,
but
that dad is wild. He's a good dude.
yeah.
no question.
Yeah.
Listen, but that's what I'm saying, guys. There is a difference. There's a reason you don't see it on the highest level in professional boxing. If it worked at that level, it works on a level. 52 hand blocks work on a lot of levels.
Yeah.
Not that he's doing 52, but he has a hand blocking kind of stand-up style. That if it really worked on the highest level of boxing, you would see it on the highest level of boxing.
Well, my pops, he does some kickboxing stuff, so he's always say like, you fighting, you're setting your fights up, you're setting your moves up with your feet too.
Yeah.
And we used to fight, and he used to be kicking me in the shins, like
The biggest problem.
it's gonna look
Sounds
different. We just
familiar.
straight boxing. We
And,
just straight
and
boxing.
the biggest problem is, look, it's a different fighting style. So you see in MMA, there's so many things to worry about.
Right.
The transition spaces, right? Like, so you can't just do it like a regular boxing match. However, the number one thing I see, the difference between boxers and other disciplines who can stand up and strike with their hands, it's not the striking skills so much as the defense. Their chin usually stays up a little higher in the air.
Yep.
And I don't know if that's because they have other things that they need to
setting
do,
up,
and so
yeah.
they need that posture. I don't know. And they keep their head on line.
Right.
It's on. They don't move their head the same way. They don't tuck the chin the same way.
And everything boxers taught not
Oleksandr
to do.
Usyk.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotta tuck your
Tucking
chin.
that chin, that matters. Bite
Yeah.
down that fucking mouthpiece because
See, there you go. One.
There you go,
I
one.
said three.
Let's
You
keep
got two
counting.
more.
Let's keep counting one.
you gotta bite down the mouthpiece.
By the way, can
bro.
I say something?
Yes, sir.
It's so good. Look at the three of us. We're doing a boxing show. No cuts, no bruises, no nothing. Thank God we have Chris Arreola comes in, his hand's busted, his nose is all messed up, right? That means because you've been sparring recently, obviously.
Yeah, it's
how it's a boxing show. You're supposed to look like this.
I love it. I love the sparring. I love the camaraderie. It's beating the crap out of each other and then shaking hands and then lick your wounds.
Yeah.
Lick your
well,
wounds.
by the way, speaking of wounds and cutting, that wasn't intentionally a transition, but I've seen Verhoeven dropped a couple times, and I'll tell you this, he has a lot of heart. He fights through. His face was falling off, basically. Cut all over the place, and he fought through it. Right. So it's not, you don't get to be a 10-year champion as undisputed in any discipline without having a lot of heart. But he definitely has a championship medal.
If you care at all, I had a broken finger. You know what I mean? My finger a little broke.
What, old football injury?
Yeah, look, you see it, a little broke up. They got some broken ribs. So if you care.
See, he talks about, I was in the gym, I was doing this and that.
10 years ago.
Look at Shady's face.
No, I need to hear.
You're not doing any real sparring.
If you care, damn, your nose is red.
Yeah.
But they got bar like
How big was the guy that you were sparring?
Well, like 270, 6'4", not a big dude.
Verhoeven.
Not a big dude.
You
270, 6'4".
How'd you do? Other than this, how'd you do?
Went 4 rounds. First round, I hate going easy. In the first round, you go a little easy. And then when they start opening up, you got to start opening up. And that's when it gets fun.
What happened what'd you break your hand?
The hand is just after the sparring. I was mad. And,
you got one more. You got one more.
Yeah.
By the way, we're in the first segment. You used up 2 of your curses.
Ooh. Let's put that down.
Speaking of Street Fighter, next one, you got to, in my day, you had to put another quarter in. Then, all right. Coming up, Emanuel Navarrete fought Sugar Nunez Saturday night in Arizona. I was genuinely surprised by what happened. Got some stuff to say about it. This is Inside the Ring.
On DAZN, the fights never stop. With the biggest nights in boxing all year long.
It has never been bigger for any fighter in the history of this country.
Let's get ready to rumble! Every week, it's on. And join us ringside, the undisputed global home of boxing. Watch only on DAZN.
Welcome back to Inside the Ring. I'm Max. That's Chris. He has one more curse left. He's used up 2 already in the first segment. That's Shady. That's Mike. The Ring Magazine, number 2 junior lightweight in the world. Number 1 is Shaki Foster. Number 2 in the world is Emanuel Navarrete. And he fought the number 4 ranked guy in the division, Eduardo Sugar Nunez. It was expected to be a war, guys, a highly competitive fight. A lot of people picking Sugar Nunez. It turned out to be a one-sided beating. Mike, we were texting before and after the fight, and I told you before the fight, I don't know about Navarrete anymore. He hadn't impressed me in a while. Whoa, I stand corrected. That was the best I thought Navarrete looked in a while, especially considering the opponent. You made an interesting point to me when we were talking before the fight about, or maybe it was after, about Navarrete's style. Do you remember what it was?
I said he's very awkward, yeah.
Yeah, but the way he throws punches.
All angles, yeah.
And it almost kind of brings him back on balance, right?
Oh, yeah.
Do I have to make your point for you?
Yes.
I thought it was a good point.
I remember, yes.
What's going on with you today? You're on the wrong side of the desk. The chair's not working. You don't remember?
He's trying to touch with the layup. He just...
We talked a lot, Max, before and after the fight. But yes, what always impresses me about Emanuel Navarrete is he's really never on balance, but then he's never off balance either. Like, he'll be, coming swarming, throwing these punches from all angles, and then you can, land a big shot even if he's falling backward, kind of. It's kind of a paradox.
I got to tell you, technically, it's the best point I ever heard you make about a fight. I tried to lead you to it. It was great. You put me up on game. I was
look at that.
you know what? He's right. Navarrete somehow gets back on balance by throwing these punches off balance. What'd you think, Shady?
He looked good, though, right? He looked aggressive, he looked explosive. Another thing about him is, he wanted to make a statement, right? Some of his fights is kind of up and down a little bit, but that night, he made sure I want everybody know on notice, listen, I am here for sure. And that's how he fought.
I didn't understand why Nunez was trying to box him, though, honestly. I was honestly waiting for him to stick in the inside and stay in the inside and use your angles and work the body. But, man, Navarrete was just, like he's saying, just throwing punches from everywhere. Angle. And if he's falling, it's like the weight shift is, and it helps him with the punch that he's throwing. It's weird, but they made it work for him. And he's punching down on the guy, so he's a big guy for 130.
Chris, you made a really good point just then, I thought. It's super interesting to me. Nunez, the issue was he was like halfway in with his style. You have to make a commitment at a certain point, right? And he got kind of caught in between. Do I stay inside? Do I box? What do I do? If he was going to box, he had to stick to boxing.
Yes.
If he's going to go inside,
in there.
this is what you
That's
got to go do. But he never really committed to one thing. How much of that is his mistake, and how much of that is just Navarrete doesn't stop throwing punches, and he's big?
It's everything to do with Navarrete. Just like Ryan, the other fight, you know. The other guy, they couldn't do nothing because the fight probably they were getting hit with. Every time. You have
one more curse, remember. Don't use it in this segment. We got a lot of segments. You almost slipped. I could hear it.
Every time Nunez got in, you know, he was getting hit with some hellacious punches from Navarrete. So he couldn't.
Is that the best you've seen?
He couldn't.
I got to say, overall, considering the opponent, considering everything.
He made a statement, Max.
I think that was the best I've ever seen Navarrete.
Yeah.
He didn't even take shots in return, really.
No, that was the difference in this fight. Yeah, he did not take much damage at all. And I agree with you. Nunez, if you want to box, you got to be tripling up on that jab, doubling up, circling. He kind of half did it. He never
you got to commit to a game plan.
Do you think he was confused?
No angles.
Because it made something he didn't know what he really wanted to do.
Or maybe
and I think he was kind of surprised. Like,
maybe it was the size of Navarrete looked huge compared to
and he looked long too.
But he was leaner this time too.
Yes, he was in better shape. I can't say enough good things about Navarrete after that fight. I have not been impressed with him recently. I thought he was going in the wrong direction. All that's turned around. Chris Mannix said Navarrete typically rehydrates about 10 to 15 pounds after a weigh-in. And guys, look at how much bigger. And this goes to my point from last week with the Richardson-Hitchin fight cancellation, right? When you have weigh-ins the day before a fight, what it does is incentivizes guys to not fight in their weight class, right? Because now they have more time to rehydrate. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. The intention is good. Let's not make guys dehydrate and rehydrate day of fight. It's dangerous. But the reason it's the road to hell is now you give them an extra 24, 36 hours, they're going to dehydrate and rehydrate even more. And some people who seem to have a hard time with comprehension have been responding to that point with essentially it's hard enough for fighters to make weight with an extra day. It would be dangerous for them to do it day of. But really, again, the point is the effect of having the day before weigh-in is that since fighters know they have the extra day to rehydrate, they intentionally fight in a weight class that's too small. You move the weigh-in back to where it was the day of, and it incentivizes people, at least over time. They'll learn their lesson. Like Hitchens, you don't get paid. Maybe the other guy get some money from you to fight in their proper weight class.
Yeah, Max, no question. And I think the flip side of that also, right, is that this started, like you said, good intentions. This started because there was that tragic fight between Dooku Kim, of course, and Ray Mancini. It was on ABC in the 80s. And there's a lot of studies that show that if you're dehydrated, then you have less fluid around your brain, protecting your brain from serious injuries. But now it's been gamified. And this is what I like about Zuffa.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah. What's going on with you today? That's the second really good point.
I got like 9 hours of sleep last night, Max.
Two on the same show?
It
usually takes you a month.
I got some
This
sleep,
is what sleep,
Yep.
We got to talk to Turkey about reducing your workload. This is a whole new day.
But hey, look, I think what I love about Zuffa too here is that 8 weight classes. I know people may say, oh, same thing, right? Oh, there's less weight classes. You're going to have fighters in the wrong weight class. I say no. If you're a guy that fights at 140 usually and you're like Richardson Hitchens where you probably shouldn't be at 140, you can either go to 147 or you can go down to 35.
Right.
There's less of this nonsense.
Well, the only reason the junior weight classes, the only traditional junior weight class was junior welter, which has been around at least since the 30s, Barney Ross and Tony Canzoneri, but then it kind of was dormant until Carlos Ortiz came around in the 60s, and since then it's been a real division. That's the only junior division there ever really was junior welter for whatever reason. The junior weight classes are there for the same reason they have an interim champion, a champion, a super duper champion, a diamond gold champion, is because the more belts you have, the more sanctioning fees you can collect.
100%. That's it.
That's why there's all these weight classes. It's a bunch of nonsense.
I've been trying to say it for years, and the fans will tell you you're wrong. It's for the fighters. No, it's for the money.
And by the way, as it comes, for people who still can't comprehend the point I'm trying to make, next time I will use sock puppets, and maybe you'll understand. I don't know how else to communicate this point.
You can do this point.
Hey, Chris, I want to ask you though. I mean, I'm not sure if you had to do because you was heavyweight, so the weight thing, but I just go to like football, right? And obviously football and boxing is different. Yeah. But being an athlete's not. And there's times where I had to make weight because in football, if you don't meet a certain weight, you get fined. And we would we would try to dry out and train, put the bags on, right? And not eat as much. And I'm thinking if I had to go compete at a certain level and I get a certain amount of time to rehydrate, there's no way I could compete at my highest performance.
No.
So I'm thinking these
Why are you asking him? He was a heavyweight. He didn't have to make weight.
That's the first thing I said, but I'm asking him. I'm sure
No,
those
actually,
boxers.
he was a light heavy in the amateurs. I take it back.
Yeah, see that? But what I'm saying is, speak on it because as an athlete, though, that is so hard to compete at a high level.
So in the amateurs, the day you weigh in is the day that you fight.
Mm-hmm.
So if I weigh in the morning, I'm gonna fight in the evening.
Okay.
Right, to prove his point. National.
And what is that, 5-6 hours to get?
So in the National Golden Gloves, I weigh in at 10 in the morning.
Okay.
Then I fight in the evening at 10, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the evening to make 178.
Right.
That was tough. I went to the U.S. Nationals and I was 15 pounds overweight, so I had to sweat it out. Jump rope, bathtub with hot towel on my
crazy,
head.
Yo.
Yeah, it
That's
up.
at 78, and he's a big guy.
Yeah.
And that's 3. That's it. You just did it again. You're out of curses for the rest of the show.
Oh my God!
Now every time you curse, it's
another
coming
one.
off the tally from next show.
My gosh.
But think about Chris Arreola, who's clearly not really a light heavyweight, right? And he had 15 pounds to make, but 15 pounds when you're that size is not the same. There are fighters at welterweight, fighting at junior welterweight,
crazy.
fighting 15, 20 pounds below where they should be fighting. That's the whole problem. And now we have further incentivized them to do that we keep pushing it back. First, it used to be 24 hours before. Now we push it back. It's like 36 hours. You weigh in the morning.
Right.
It's too
That's
much.
a lot. That is a lot.
But Max, my question is though, I guess the safety part. So if you have longer time to get the weight together compared to if you said the same day,
That part is safer.
But it might be scarier because now I'm trying my best to rehydrate and you don't have that much time to do it.
And I think the main issue is not that part, although I don't know, maybe it is, right?
You know what I'm saying? That sounds hard,
but
though.
it feels to me as though the real issue is that if you give the fighters more time, they will take advantage of the rules.
Take advantage of
This is any game, any set of rules you set up, people will try to exploit them.
Manipulate it.
We see this in the NBA. Foul hunting, right?
Harden.
The point of a foul is so the defender. The point is to let the defender let the offensive player make their move, right? Well, what smart offensive players did is they realized, I can kind of create contact.
That's the Harden
I can
rule.
fake
That's
him and
right.
then kind of
It's
bump into him.
ruining,
Now
it's ruining the NBA.
Right. By the way, same thing in baseball. The point of balls and strikes in baseball originally was to encourage the pitcher to throw a pitch that the hitter could hit.
Yeah, right.
But eventually, hitters manipulate that. They try to
crowd the
work
play
a walk,
or whatever.
foul off the good pitches, and work a walk. It made the game worse.
Yeah.
And when the
Football, same
consumer
thing.
product gets worse, you adjust. In boxing, the intention is good, but the people are manipulating the rules, as all players of games will, right? And there's boxing, which is not a game, but then there's the fight game.
Right.
And this part falls into the
makes
fight
sense.
game.
So, but why is it okay for the amateurs to weigh in the day of fights, but not the pros?
Because there's no infrastructure in boxing. There's no unity. There's no unified rules or governance.
And I think also in the amateurs, in a 3-round fight with headgear, the idea is it may not be as perilous in terms of your health as severe dehydration, rehydration day of, in a 10, 12 round fight without headgear.
Yeah.
Even then, I would say that if what you want to avoid is severe dehydration and rehydration, by pushing it back the day before, you've exacerbated it. You've made even more dehydration, rehydration.
Right.
Right?
And I'll add to this, right? When you go into other places, I remember we were in Riyadh in December for the Inoue and Nakatani fights. Willie Baldo Garcia, who like Richardson Hitchens has the IBF title, he had to do his same day weigh-in like 3 hours before his fight. And then the fight fell out as well. So there's really no uniform thinking
For
here.
people who would say, if you see they're falling out day in, that's because usually, you made the point last week, we're in a system where most of the time you weigh in the day before. So that's where people have built their careers, around the idea that they can fight in a division that's too small for them. Yeah. And if only one of the sanctioning bodies does day of weigh-in, it throws things off, because people are like, someone like Hitchens, if someone has a belt or something, or they've worked their way up to a certain status in a division, they don't want to just give that up and start all over again in a different division, right? Yeah. But the answer is not for one sanctioning body to stop doing that. The answer is for all of them to switch back to same-day weigh-ins. And by the way, do weight checks throughout. where you make sure the guy is more or less on weight.
Well, why don't you call your homeboys over the alphabet game? I know you guys are best friends. God damn. Come on, man. Come on, Max. Take care of us.
I thought WC did that. They had like the track if there's like a heavyweight, world
WBC
title
does it,
fight.
yes.
Yeah, and then you do it day of weigh-in, in my opinion. So entering this past weekend, we had Oshaki Foster as the Ring Magazine's #1 ranked junior lightweight. Remember, Navarrete is #2.
That was actually a good fight.
Yeah,
They've
nice
now
too, though.
flipped spots, guys. You agree, Mike?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, I wouldn't have had a big problem if Oshaki stayed #1 either. But with the way Emanuel Navarrete performed as an underdog, stopping his opponent, won virtually every round, and his deep resume at 130, I think it's more than deserving.
I don't know if I would put him ahead of Oshaki, because Oshaki is coming. Look, it didn't happen at exactly the same time, but more or less in the same couple months, they both had very impressive wins.
Yep.
So
Against good opponents too.
Yeah, so maybe if they're saying it's that close that Oshaki's win puts him ahead, now Navarrete's put it, there's only one way to resolve this. Fight each other.
I also want to add to that, though, that Navarrete's performance came against a fellow titleist and a fellow fighter that, again, was favored to beat him, and he stopped him, whereas Foster's last performance, Fulton's a very good fighter. First fight at 130, didn't stop him, so you have to give an edge.
Fair enough. I mean, another interesting run-in happened at the Navarrete-Nunez fight when Oshaki Foster and Ray Ford came face-to-face,
nice
guys.
fight, too,
And Ray Ford can fight. And they started jawing at each other. Is Oshaki and Ray Ford more likely to be next than Oshaki and Navarrete?
Yes, it is, Max. From what I'm hearing, this fight is much more likely to happen next. Ray Ford with Matchroom, Oshaki with Top Rank, and they've been doing a lot of business together. So, again, that was a fight that has been in talks on Twitter. We talked about this when Oshaki was on the show last week, right? That I said I wanted to see this fight all along. Sure. So I do think it is going to happen next. And if that is the case, I would love to see Navarrete fight somebody like a Stephen Fulton.
I forgot that you got into some trouble with the fighters over
They
another thing.
They all want to beat up on Mike. Hey, real quick, yo, Ray can fight though.
Yeah, no doubt.
Brother from Camden.
Well,
yeah, he can go.
Even if he wasn't a brother from Canada, he can still fight.
No, I'm saying brother from Camden adds on to it. You know what I mean?
For you, it adds on
for
to
everybody, baby. For everybody. That's a great fight.
That'd be more of a chess match, in my opinion. The Foster would be a chess match, but I
don't know.
Navarrete, I think Navarrete.
Ford likes to rumble too.
Yeah, but they're really skillful fighters when I'm talking.
Oh, you want wars? You want wars, huh?
If we're gonna have war, we're gonna have a Navarrete and him. And Foster, that'd be a good fight. They're gonna come out here to beat the crap out of each other.
Navarrete and Foster have a good styles matchup.
Yes,
right.
That's what I mean.
And on top of that, it decides a champion in the division.
Yeah, it's huge.
Not a belt holder, a champion.
But I want to add, you know who was one part of the 2024 Ring Magazine Fight of the Year? Ray Ford.
Right.
Against
nice.
Arslanbek Makhmudov.
Yep.
That was he had the knockout in the final 10
12 seconds. I think it was 12 seconds left in the fight.
Yeah, but
Komatov.
you gotta have.
Thank you. Wow, Max, that's good.
You gotta have a good dance partner to have a good fight.
Absolutely, yes.
Who do you think wins though? Can we talk about that, or it's too early?
Oof. I would have taken Oshaki before this fight. Now I don't know.
Oh no.
Navarrete.
No.
The thing about Navarrete is, if you're not going to be able to hurt him, and he keeps throwing shots. I usually favor the boxer.
I always favor the boxer.
Because the boxer can keep it a distance and is harder to hit. I would probably favor
mistakes.
Oshaki. And Oshaki's looked really good recently, but man, this Navarrete is not who I thought he was. He has much more left than I thought he did.
Yeah, but Foster, he's nice. He can box really well.
Who do you like?
Well.
Oh, Navarrete. Because I like his style. Like you said, awkward style, punches from different angles. He throws punches to hurt you, not just to measure you. He's trying to hurt you with every punch.
You know, one thing I learned about true boxers though, them guys that throw at different angles, right? And it's all offense. They make you pay when you make mistakes.
Yeah.
Right? That's why I'm going with Foster. I've watched Foster though. He's disciplined. He boxes really, really well, athletic, and he's long.
Foster has better punches, in my opinion. He throws crisper punches.
Well, let me tell you this, God darn it. Right now on this set, I am 11-2 with my bets. So don't go against me, because if you go against me, you lose. Ask Mike.
My man, weren't you the person who switched his bet because Fitty walked in in the ring?
But that's different. 50 Cent, that's like my, you know what I mean?
Actually, the proper response is that's one of the two I got wrong.
Right, there you go. There you go.
What am I talking about? I would say this: Oshaki looked as good as I've ever seen him.
That's a great
last
fight,
time
though.
out, maybe better. And that's the best kind of fight. So often nowadays, the reason I loved Shakur and Teo. So often nowadays, we don't get the fights, or really until Turkey came on the scene, we weren't getting the fights that when we wanted to get them.
Right.
And it's not the same getting them when their due date is passed.
Right, that's true.
How, like, when you get the fight where that guy is at the height of his powers and so is that guy, and it's to crown a champion in the division, that's special.
That's real special.
And I want to add here that as far as Navarrete is concerned, he has a mandatory due against Charlie Suarez in a rematch, and Suarez deserves his shot desperately. I mean, when they fought last year, basically Suarez created a big cut over Navarrete. The fight had to be stopped due to that cut, and they originally erroneously ruled that it was from a headbutt. It wasn't from a headbutt, it was from a punch. So really, Suarez should be the champion right now. He got robbed of that, so he'd have to step aside if Navarrete wanted to fight somebody else next.
Well, I mean, there's an example where if Oshaki and Navarrete fought, then the winner should fight.
Of course, absolutely.
All right, in the co-main event, 2025 Ring Magazine Prospect of the Year and undefeated junior welterweight Emiliano Vargas, son of the tremendous Fernando Vargas, beat Agustin Quintana.
Yes, he did.
Via very controversial 9th round stoppage. Quintana gave Vargas a really tough fight. Cop, your thoughts?
Yeah, look, I mean, Emiliano Vargas, he looks the part. He's flashy, right? He's explosive puncher.
Yes, he is.
He has fast hands. He has a great look to him. He's in the Super Bowl commercial with Bad Bunny. But I don't think he's anywhere near ready yet for the best of 140.
Well, he's only 21.
He's
He's
young,
21,
as
right?
hell.
So there's no knock on him whatsoever. But at some point, I would like to see him fight a legitimate gatekeeper to see where he's at.
Well, I think he got his daddy's blood in him for sure. His daddy's blood is in him. That's for one. He looks good, got the look to him, and you talked about him even getting at the Super Bowl with the Bad Bunny stuff. But also, he a young dude. I hate sometimes when I watch boxers where they be so good and young, and like we want to throw him out there. There's nothing wrong with letting him develop. 21 years old.
He said after the fight he wants a former champ, like, once upon a time in boxing. Gather round, children. Let Uncle Max tell you a story. In the, between Jack Dempsey and Joe Louis, once Gene Tunney beat Jack Dempsey 100 years ago, literally at this point almost, the title got passed around between a bunch of guys, right? Max Schmeling, Jack Sharkey, Primo Carnera, Max Baer, Cinderella Man, right? James Braddock. And what Joe Louis did on his way up, they started putting him in with the old guys. No, Bum of the Month was during his title reign because everyone compared to him was a bum. He knocked them all out. But he would fight all the former champs and beat them convincingly. That's how he got his title shot. In fact, he lost one of those fights to Schmeling. They rematched after he won the title. But since then, that's been a tried and true kind of formula in boxing for prospects. At a certain point, you fight guys who are later, longer in the tooth, but at one point,
got a name on
they
them.
held a belt,
Belts,
they did something, and you start making your bones that way. Yeah, and that, and Vargas talked about that after the fight.
Can't rush Emiliano, man. They rushed his dad. I personally think they rushed his dad a little too fast.
I agree with that.
Got him knocked out by Trinidad.
Yeah, I remember that.
The only thing about saying rushed him into the Trinidad fight, the only thing about that, and I felt the same way, like afterward I thought, man, Vargas is young to be in a fight like that. Fernando beat Ike Corte. And by the way, Corte and Trinidad were both belt holders at the same time. Yeah, Trinidad would have been favored. It would have been an interesting fight. But it wasn't just that Vargas beat Corte. It was the way he beat him. Right. He dominated Corte. He totally outclassed Ike Corte, who went life and death with Oscar, right? And knocked him down and the whole thing. Yeah. So he was young. He was definitely young, but it's not like he didn't fight his way to that fight. He did.
Even Winky Wright, he fought him super early, though, I feel like. He was younger.
That was after.
That came a little later.
Okay.
Yeah, that came a little later.
I know he beat him, but that was early.
That was a few years before Winky Wright, as you would say, Max, beat the legacy out of Trinidad.
But then again, Vargas, rush Vargas because...
And you can't really look at Trinidad post-Hopkins. It wasn't the same.
Right.
You had to rush. At that time, you had to rush Vargas also because, shit, he was having a good time.
That's 4.
God.
My bad.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
That's
fine.
That's a record, though. That's a record. Because you only do like 2.5.
I think it's 5.
You had 6.
Damn. We need to get a counter from the production
We're
room.
not even halfway done with the show.
My bad. I didn't mean to, but
all the kids watching. Sorry about that, kids.
My bad. I apologize.
Sorry
Warped their little minds.
Yeah.
Another story from that Matchroom event. Shady, close your ears for this one. 34-year-old Abel Ramos upset undefeated Tahmir Smalls of Philadelphia.
Oh, my God.
Via split decision.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Ramos fell behind early, but rallied in the second half of the fight to pull off the upset. After the fight, he said he wants to fight Ryan Garcia and all the big names at welterweight. Is there any interest from you guys? And where does Smalls go from here?
For any interest in me seeing Abel Ramos fight Ryan Garcia, absolutely not. But Ramos, props to him. That's a great win. He was coming.
It's a big win.
He had a draw with Mario Barrios in a title shot actually a couple of years ago. And
Shady, just look at Shady.
look at Shady. But look, Ramos is a legitimate gatekeeper, and I think he's serving his role very well there. There's nothing wrong with being a gatekeeper.
Can someone please cut to Shady for a second? Just cut to Shady. I just want the camera on Shady's face for a second. I just want to say the name Mario Barrios. Let's see what happens to Shady's face. You can't help it. You can't help it. The only other name that does that to Shady, there's one other.
No, he's
Rolly.
Yeah, bad guy, bad fighter. But hold up, can we start keeping it real about Barrios? Because
can we get Rolly to roll up on you, please? I want to see if you keep the same tune.
What am I
I'm
doing?
talking about me having beefs. I want to see somebody roll up on.
I'll tell you what you're going to do if Rolly comes to the studio. No, you're going to focus on the stuff he does well. Right? You're going to focus on the positive.
I'm never going to disrespect the athlete because I've been there. You know what I'm saying? Even if I don't.
How are you going to tell us you disrespect
I said he was
him
bad.
every day?
You just called him bad.
You literally just said the words he's bad.
Hold on. In sports.
No, not that bad like good. No, bad like you're bad.
In sports, there's good players.
Yes.
And there's average players.
Yes.
And then there's bad players.
Okay.
Right?
He's a bad player?
He's in like the middle. He's like bad and average. He's
among the world-class fighters, maybe.
I don't care about that. Look. In the NFL, right? I'm gonna tell you this. They say it's the best of the best. There's some guys that shouldn't be there. I look at Rolly, and it's not
Rolly's on the practice squad?
I think Rolly's okay. He's okay. It's certain boxers I'm learning though about this thing. Like you get a belt, and then you can like basically manipulate the world.
Yeah.
And I'm noticing
That's for sure.
Yeah. Or in certain promotion companies. They match these fighters up with these guys, and they don't be that good, but they look good to us.
That is true.
I'm done being fooled. I'm not going to call who they are. I'm not going to let them fool me no more and act like your fighter's really, really good because I learned that you just match them up well. That's one. And two is, just because you have a belt don't mean you're nice. Barrios, what was that against Ryan Garcia? Now, Ryan looked great, but dog, what is that? What is that
Rolly
called?
is awkward, and he can hit hard.
Yeah.
So that can go a long way.
I might see Ramos with Rolly. That'd be fun.
I watched a 45-year-old fighter whoop on Rolly, and they gave him a loss and let Rolly win. And y'all know, what's the guy's name?
Ismael Barroso.
Come on, man.
I interrupted you because I couldn't take watching him about to crack up when we just mentioned Mario Barrios. Do you have anything you wanted to say?
No, I'm just saying that look, Ramos is a gatekeeper, and we need gatekeepers, and I appreciate it.
Coming up, Conor Benn is fighting Regis Prograis, and
No, that's a good fighter right there.
are we about to get the Ryan Garcia Devin Haney rematch? We're going to get into it next. This is Inside the Ring. Welcome back to Inside the Ring. Max, Chris, Cop, Shady. Chris Mannix caught up with Devin Haney in Arizona Saturday night at the Matchroom Fight.
Debo.
And asked about a potential rematch with Ryan Garcia. And here's what my guy Chris Mannix, or what Haney had to say about it to Chris.
You are the welterweight champion and a man in demand right now in that division. But the man you said you want is Ryan Garcia. Is that the fight you're looking for next?
Yeah, I mean, it has a storyline. It has the bad blood. It's a unification now, and it's the biggest fight in boxing. So it's a perfect fight to be made, and right now is the time.
What did you think of Ryan's performance?
I thought Ryan did what he was supposed to. I figured he would do that against Mario Barrios. Mario Barrios was a perfect opponent for Ryan.
Do you think this will be different with you the second time around?
Definitely.
That clearly set Ryan off because he went at Haney on Twitter saying, let's start the discussions. Mark my words, you'll never fight again after this. So let that sink in and accept it before you say yes. Ryan continued saying, Haney doesn't understand. He's the B-side. To which Haney responded, let's understand you lost to Rolly one fight ago. I'm number one in the division and on the pound-for-pound list. If you don't want to fight, just say that. Guys, the most recent version of these two, like this is just the same thing we were talking about Navarrete and Oshaki. Let's get these guys fighting when they're at their best. Okay. The most recent version of Haney and the most recent version of Ryan Garcia, you could argue, are the best versions we've ever seen of both guys, given that Haney was fighting at welterweight and did what he did. And the same thing with Ryan at welterweight. Look, they fought once. Now, afterward, Ryan was failed the PED test, right? But he did knock Haney down and win the first time.
Whooped him.
Whoa.
3.2 pounds overweight.
He cheat. But saying you can't. I hate when we do that with the. He didn't win that fight. Right. He got.
The night of, they caught him with PEDs,
all right, so
and he weighed in heavy. That is all true.
All right, so that
at the end of that fight, he won by a wide margin, and he knocked Ryan Garcia. He knocked Devin Haney down.
Heavier and was dirty.
That's why he had to vacate the win, right? Nevertheless, that's one of the injustices of that from Haney's point of view is you can't take away what actually happened. We can say whatever we want about that, but that did occur. Yes, and given that. Who do you favor in the rematch at welterweight?
Ryan, easy. And the main reason, that's just going to stick in his head. It's going to stick in Haney's head that he got his butt kicked by Ryan regardless. You're going to say he doesn't, but he's going to remember how he got hit with that jab, that right hand, that hook, that dropped him. He's going to remember every little thing about that, and I think it's going to be worse. I personally think that this time I think Ryan beats him and he may stop him.
They both looked, as I said, as good as they've ever looked their last time out in a new weight division. I love rivalries that go up through the weight classes as they get older. So Haney makes a good point. He's on pound for pound lists.
Yes, he is.
He is considered the #1 fighter at welterweight right now. On the other hand, Ryan Garcia, extremely popular, 10 million social media followers. Who is the A side in this fight, Chris Arreola?
Haney.
Haney's the A side.
Come on now.
Just because he, like you said, pound for pound, he's on the list and all the accolades they have, he's on the A side. And Ryan just has one belt right now. And yeah, he may have the most followers, but those followers ain't going to follow him into the ring.
Well, I mean, it depends. They might follow him to their TVs, and that does something too. Haney has fought his last couple fights on undercards, including Mike Coppinger. Ryan Garcia undercard. So who's the A side?
Look, Ryan's the bigger star, obviously. You see the social media following and all that. But in today's boxing landscape, Max, I think you can't have a so-called super fight without two A sides. So I don't think there is a true A side here. I think
when
both
Ali
of these
fought
guys,
Frazier, they were both A sides, but Ali was actually the A side.
Ali's everybody's A side, though.
I think
no matter who entered first, no matter Ali was the A side. Who's the A side?
There is no real A side here. I really believe that. I think it's a 50-50 fight. Both guys can make the same amount of money. It doesn't matter who's the billing, who walks less. Make this fight happen next. I don't want to see it a year from now. I don't want to see it marinate. We don't know what happens if one guy loses or
who's
there's
the
an
A
injury.
side? Since Mike doesn't want to answer, who's the A side?
Before I answer, the first time they negotiated the fight, right? Because you could talk about that, the money, right? What was the money on these two? When Ryan's about to fight Devin and...
Yeah, but they made similar money for the first fight. But Haney was the A side for the first fight. He was the champion.
Okay, so cool, perfect. So he was A side on the first time, and Ryan was always more popular than Devin Haney. But since that fight, Devin's popularity has went up. His resume has went up. He's on a pound-for-pound list out of all the fighters in boxing.
His popularity went up because he got a butt kicked by Garcia. His popularity went up. His popularity went up because he sued to get his thing back.
You don't get popular about that. But what I will say is this. Right? Now, he didn't have the God didn't bless him to fight a guy like Barrios. God didn't bless him like that. He had to go fight somebody like Brian Norman, who hit hard, and everybody picked him to lose that fight. He got in that ring and whipped his tail out like a real fighter.
But the question becomes...
So he's got to be the A side.
Shady, the question becomes, how much of being the A side is merit based on accomplishment, and how much of it is your fan base? I come down on this, I think, with you, Shady, in the sense that on the merits right now, Devin Haney should be the A side.
I agree.
It's close, but he should be the A side. The thing about Ryan that I like is even if he's posturing, I'm the A side, Ryan is willing to do things to make fights happen. He was willing essentially to say Tank can be the A side. Yep. Like, let's make the fight happen. So whatever Ryan's saying, I have confidence that he'll do what it takes to make the fight happen.
But this is the question I have. Are you asking me who should get the A side privileges or who's literally going to be on the left side of the poster?
Exactly.
I'm saying, in your opinion, who's the A side?
I think legitimately this is a fight where both guys get the same amount of money. It's a 50-50 fight. I don't really
care. What I love is you asked me for clarification in order to answer the question. Right. I clarified it. You just told me the same thing.
You gave me the answer I wanted, Max.
Okay, what answer do you want from me to get a response from
I want you to say that this is just about who's on which side of the poster.
This is just about on who's on which side of the poster.
Haney goes on the left side of the poster.
So he's the A side.
Well, he was the A side for the first fight. So if you're going to do the rematch, I think, and he didn't lose the fight officially.
All right.
Turkey had his fight, right? Turkey had his fight, probably.
Yeah, of
And,
course.
the good thing with him is we ain't gonna have this problem with the A side, B side. Which I want to fight.
How important is it?
How it's not.
Exactly.
I'm just curious. Like sometimes it's just an
That's what I was
interesting
getting at.
thought. Like who is at this
Calling
moment?
the
If they're
shots.
debating it, who would you guys say it is? Right? I think I'd probably lean
Debo.
towards Haney. Ryan Garcia looked fantastic.
Yes, he
it
looked
was
great.
against
Ryan looked
Barrios,
great.
but he really did look fantastic his last time out. Conor Benn, guys, signed a one-fight deal with Zuffa Boxing. And we'll be taking on Regis Prograis April 11th on Netflix as the co-main event, the Tyson Fury versus Arslanbek Makhmudov. Benn is reportedly getting $15 million for the fight. Kyle, what do you think?
Look, I think this makes a lot of sense for Conor Benn's first fight. Regis Prograis a little long in the tooth, a very, very quality fighter.
Yes,
He's
he
covers
is.
a lot.
Yeah.
I was ringside for his fight against Josh Taylor, which I thought was a very
Great
close
fight.
fight.
Great fight.
In London years ago.
Josh
So-
Taylor legit won, but it
It
was
was
a
a
great
very
fight.
good fight.
Good fight, yeah.
And I'm a big fan of Regis, both professionally and personally. He's a great guy. He's easy to root for. Look, this is tough for Regis. He's going from 140 to 150.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming off of that fight against Jojo Diaz, which was a tough fight and a good action fight. So obviously what they're trying to do here is get Conor Benn an explosive knockout, right? Get a good statement for him in a big showcase in a stadium before a big fight later this year. And I'm not sure Regis Prograis is going to agree to that part of the script, but I think it's going to be action.
Yeah.
Guys, years ago there was a series, Boxing After Dark on HBO. Lou DiBello was making fights for HBO at the time. And you could talk to Lou about it. It's not rocket science. You want to make a good fight? Put Gaddy in with Ward. Guess what? There's no way you're going to get a bad fight.
Yeah.
Put Barrera in with McKinney, right? You can't not get a great fight. There's some stuff. If you sign Conor Benn and you want to make a great fight, go put him in with Regis Prograis.
Yep.
They're going to go at
Yes,
it.
they are.
It's
They're gonna go
not
at it, yeah.
rocket science.
And it's gonna be a good
fun
fight too, though. I think it's gonna be a good fight.
For sure.
For sure.
Yeah, that's going to be
Entertaining for sure.
entertaining, definitely. And there are fighters who fight on different levels. Whatever you think about what level Conor Benn can fight at, Malik Scott feels like Conor Benn has a style to give anyone a problem. I would debate him like, okay, not Shakur Stevenson,
he said
right?
Shakur. He did say
But he
Shakur.
said Shakur.
Yeah.
But what we do know is Conor Benn is at least at the level where you put him with Prograis, and that's a tremendous action fight that will be produced.
Fun fight.
And we now have the full April 11th fight card, guys. Let's take a look. So there it is. You got Conor
a
Benn
lot of
and
fights.
Prograis.
That's a lot of fights.
A lot of fights.
Yep.
What do you like? What's your favorite fight on the card?
I like the main card.
Might be the main event.
Yeah, I like the main card. Yeah, the main card.
I'll tell you, Mikey Talon is a good-looking prospect, smaller weight classes, but he's a good-looking prospect, someone to keep an eye on.
Rios
So-
is a very talented guy. He hasn't, when he's bumped up against the highest level, maybe not, but he's a very talented guy.
And another good-looking prospect, Max, is Breon Gorham. I like him a lot, too. We saw him with Overtime. Fraser Clark versus Justice Hooney. Fraser Clark had that incredible action fight with Fabio Wardley, was knocked out brutally in the rematch. And then Justice Hooney, of course, was outboxing Wardley until he was stopped.
And by the
late
way,
in the
it
fight.
turns out, at that point, it was well, we're kind of wondering about Wardley. He's struggling with these guys. But in retrospect, these guys are good because
They are.
Wardley is really good. He beat Joseph
Obviously,
Parker.
obviously.
Right, this is a quality fight. Obviously, you have to favor Hooney, I believe, but I like that fight a lot. And Reakpour and TKV, I think that'll be a good heavyweight scrap as well. Good domestic fight.
Matchmaking happens to be excellent, and that's the key to everything. And I shout him out all the time. We have a guy at Zuffa Boxing who makes great fights.
Yeah.
And
They all been good, yo. They all been good. I'm surprised. I ain't gonna lie to you.
His name is Ryan. Has two different last names. Remember when
Oh, right.
I said Stone, you said no, it's Scalia?
Yeah.
It's because both.
Right. He goes by one. You got
Ryan's-
the government name, I
I
think.
got the government name. Ryan Stone, Ryan Scalia. This kid is
And
savant
sometimes
matchmaking.
I don't know all the fighters. I mean, I know a lot of them, but some all right, it's a new guy. I gotta look him up and all that.
Yeah.
I'm like, but one thing I do know, in Zuffa, they're gonna be good fights. Don't matter if you know the dude or not, they're gonna be a good fight because they match them up really, really well.
As long as they scrap and they're in there,
They
to
scrappy.
Yep, that's all that matters. They want to make a name for themselves.
Yeah.
And that's the main thing. And Zuffa's giving them the platform for them to have it.
Plus, they got stuff like where all the money where you can get like
Yeah.
bonuses. If you knock a guy out, you get a bonus. Like every fighter loves
Yeah,
that.
everyone wants that. Everyone wants to knock out bonus. Who
You know
wouldn't?
what's crazy? That's why the whole thing with NFL came up with the like incentives. Sometimes like players be so satisfied with the money. What can I get the most out of this guy? Right? Okay, cool. You go out there, you get you 1,000 yards receiving. Like that's an extra $250,000. Or you go out there, you get some more receptions. Like those are finding ways to make the players more competitive. It's doing the same thing in boxing.
Yeah, I mean, the idea that, well, they should be competitive anyway and blah, blah, blah. You could either stand on principle or you can you can put mechanisms in to get you the best consumer product you can get.
Because you might beat a guy though, but say, you know what, yo, we'll give you, and you might need money, so I'm gonna get the easy win. But damn, if I knock him out, I get an extra 150. Yeah, let me go.
By the way, it works the other way too, right? Because you hear people make business decisions in the NFL, right?
That's true. Yes.
That guy didn't want to get hit like that. You make a business decision.
I've been there, Max.
But maybe when it makes sense business-wise, you make another decision.
Yeah, that's true.
Conor Benn eventually wants to fight for a welterweight strap. Ring Magazine unveiled the latest 147-pound rankings. Let's take a look. The championship is vacant, and here are the contenders.
Look
There's
at D-Bug
Devin
up
Haney.
front.
There's Brian Norman Jr. Staniosis is still hanging around at 3. Didn't look too great against Boots Ennis, but okay.
Yeah, he didn't look.
Ryan Garcia at 4, given Staniosis' level of activity recently and how he looked against both Boots, I'd probably put Ryan ahead of him, even though it was just one fight against Barrios. Romero, Polanco. They got some good. Giasov.
Giasov can fight.
By the way, Giasov might be the best welterweight in the world. Like, let's see these guys fight.
And it's funny, you saw Devin Haney say it on Twitter, I believe it was last night, right?
Tiger Johnson, we've had.
Tiger Johnson
can
nice too.
fight.
Tiger's fight. Another guy Devin Haney got mixed up with, Tiger Johnson.
Yeah, that was,
Yeah, you saw Devin Haney tweet last night, Max, saying, "Oh, I know why Rolly's calling for a fight with me now. He's trying to get around that mandatory with Giasov. Nobody wants Giasov."
By the way, if I were advising Rolly, what are you going to get paid to fight Giasov?
Right.
Who's really good? I would avoid that fight too.
I would advise the same thing. Those Uzbeks can fight.
Not to be that guy in the room,
tough.
but I am the room and I am a guy. Can we show it one more time the list? I just want to know how you guys feel. You guys are experts.
Yeah.
At number 5, do you guys feel comfortable with Rolly being number 5? I'm just asking.
Yes, I am comfortable.
He beat Ryan Garcia recently.
Based on results. This isn't pound for
How do
pound.
you feel about it? That sounds like a question you'd
No.
like to ask.
I just wanted to ask, right? Because hey, man, I got my own opinion, but I learn from you guys, right? You guys are all experts, so if you guys feel comfortable,
but a ranking is different than pound for pound, Shady. A ranking is not predictive about who would beat whom. It's based on what did you earn. So if you get a win, well, the other guy had an off night, that's not your fault. You play who's on your schedule.
So,
if in the NFL you have a playoff game and the other team's quarterback is hurt, well, you didn't beat him at full strength. You taking the win or not? Do you advance or don't you?
But even at number 3, like I watched Boots. That was a walk in the park. I mean,
You say Boots is the best, so.
but he didn't even sweat.
Staniosis has also been very inactive due to injury
he ain't
recently. I
fighting
think he's
nobody.
rated a little high there. Nothing against him, but I think he's rated a little high based on his
Don't
recent
forget,
activity.
he had 2 different cancellations with 3 different cancellations with Virgil Ortiz. One on his own merit.
Yeah, it's not
2
his,
on Virgil's.
You're right. It's not his fault.
And I want to shout out one more guy in these rankings now while we have it up, Max. Number 9, Jack Catterall.
Jack's
That
nice.
was a tremendous performance
Yes, it was.
against Echo Esserman in his last fight. Knocks him out of the ring. This guy needs a shot. Get this guy a title shot because he was, he had the shot against Josh Taylor. We all thought he won. He didn't get the decision.
That's true. Yeah.
This is one of the things I like so much, and one of the reasons I'm involved in Zuffa boxing. Ring Magazine recognizes the accomplishment after the fact. That's why the ring is there. They've never been there to sanction fights. They've been there to say, this guy is now the champion.
Right.
Here it is. This is who we think is 1 through 10. But there isn't really a mechanism in boxing that makes guys fight each other, right? When the best fight the best, you find out. See that list of top 10 guys? The number 10 guy or 9 guy is Tiger Johnson. You know how good Tiger Johnson is?
Tiger Johnson's nice.
Tiger Johnson might be the best welterweight in the world. Giasov might be the best welterweight in the world.
Right.
They might be. But Shady, back to the point I was making for you, a ranking is not predictive. A ranking is based on what you earned.
Right,
So you could say whatever you want about Rolly and have your opinion of him and predict that Tiger would beat him and Giasov would beat him.
Would you agree? We all think that Tiger would beat.
I think probably.
Yes.
But the point is he beat Ryan Garcia fair and square.
Knocked him down.
The whole thing. And Ryan Garcia just had a big win against Barrios. He looked really good.
We gotta put some nuance to these conversations though. Like Ryan Garcia, looking at how he looked. This body, not even talking about the fight, this is body.
That's his fault.
But 1 second, Mike. The way he looked when he got in that ring with Rolly, it looked nowhere comparable to when he fought Barrios.
You're doing
and then, no. And then when watching the fight, he looked freaking triggered. He was scared to throw punches against Rolly, right? And I'm not saying anything wrong about Rolly.
If you see a playoff game, I'm just asking, Shady, if you see a playoff game and you could see one team was hurt and they're playing on the road and they're missing this guy and that guy and this guy got suspended, but the other team won,
right?
They still advance. So if
That's
you
true.
score the
That's
win,
true.
you
That's true.
advance,
That's
right?
true.
You go up, not down.
Yeah.
So I hear you.
Point. That's a good
I hear
point.
you.
That's a good point.
All
That's a great point.
You know I'm with you on the pound for pound stuff.
Roman needs
You're
to
like,
fight.
he didn't prove it yet.
He needs to fight. He needs to fight soon.
Coming up, guys, Devin Haney's proved it.
Debo
He joins the
house.
show. This is Inside the Ring, number 1 guy in welterweight.
You better tuck your chains in.
Debo.
Debo in the house.
Live only on The Zone, March 28th, Moses Atauma, the future of heavyweight boxing.
Atauma wins in one.
His journey to world champion continues, but this time, the test is real. Jermaine Franklin, elite, battle-hardened, never knocked out. Can Franklin stop Atauma?
He's powerful, he's destructive.
Don't miss Atauma versus Franklin, March 28th. Watch only on The Zone.
Welcome back to Inside the Ring. Max, Chris, Cop, Shady. We now welcome in the number 8 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, according to Ring Magazine, Devin the Dream Haney, or Debo.
Call him Debo. That's on Debo.
What's up, Devin? Appreciate you making time to join us.
Thank you guys for having me.
So from the looks of things, you had an eventful Sunday on Twitter with Ryan Garcia and Rolly Romero. Let's start with Rolly. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, Rolly said what he said on Twitter, and he basically stood on it. His manager reached out to us, and you know, what a solid offer, something that made sense for me and my team, and now we're starting to negotiate.
Right, he called you Ducky. He said the ball's in your court and all that. Now, I've had criticism of you the way you fought in the second half of fights when you've been up on the cards. But one thing no one can say about you is that you duck anybody. You're clearly willing to fight the best. How do you feel like, I know just personally we all experience in our lives. If someone says something about us and we feel like, well, they have a point of view that may be valid or invalid, but if someone says something about us and we feel like they're just lying on us, that's a different feeling. When he said Ducky, what category of criticism did that fall in your own mind?
I mean, I just took it with a grain of salt. I think that he just trying to, sell the fight, which rightfully so. We haven't really heard from Rolly since the Ryan Garcia fight. So, I didn't take it personal. He could say what he want to say. The world knows that, I'm Debo for a reason, because I'm the guy pulling up on everyone and wanting to make the biggest, best fights happen. So, the duck talk is for somebody else, not for me.
Hey, Devin, great to see you. First off, do we have enough Devin Haney paintings in the background? I'm seeing 3 just on camera here. Can I get one of those, maybe?
I don't lie.
Is this the Miami? Is this the Miami spot?
Are those all Devin Haneys?
No, I'm in LA. I'm gonna see you one for your birthday.
Okay, perfect, perfect.
Send 251.
I'll frame it real nice, yeah. But look, Devin, first off, look, Rolly, I love all the talk of that, all great and all, whatever. I don't care about Rolly right now. I want to see Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, one of the biggest fights in boxing. I think it's the biggest fight in American boxing. And I think it has everything, right? It has the bad blood, the storylines, unfinished business. Can we get that fight next?
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge fight. Huge fight for boxing, huge fight for myself. That's a fight that I would love to make happen. But, if Ryan's not going to be realistic in these negotiations, then we just got to move on and, go to the next best guy. And Rolly has a belt. Rolly is the guy that actually beat Ryan Garcia, that Ryan Garcia's not screaming for a rematch with him. So, if that's the guy that beat Ryan, then I'll go ahead and beat him. And if Ryan wants to get serious and he wants to, be realistic in these negotiations, then we can do that fight now or we can do that fight next. It makes no difference to me.
Debo, thanks for coming on Inside the Ring. Can I have my chain out or should I tuck it in? How we doing this? I'm good.
I'll let you. You my man, so I'll let you leave it out.
Okay. Now, I learned a lot from Mike with the negotiations, right, in boxing, because in football we do a little different. In football, everybody can't just send contracts. So is it disrespectful for Rolly to be sending y'all contracts? I'm just trying to figure this out.
Yeah, well, he came with something from the network it was something that was realistic for me and my team. It wasn't all the details. That's why I said we're beginning negotiations, but it was a venue, it was a date, and it was a network. So
okay.
And my team, we've been talking with my team, and we're seeing how we can add different things into this deal to make it work. So no, I mean it made sense. What he sent over made sense. It wasn't no BS.
It was good. Okay, good. Because I don't understand that, but I understand now. I do want to ask you this though. Rolly fight, cool. I think we all know how that ends, right? But I guess he has a belt, so it makes sense. But you're in a different space right now. I think you're starting to get the respect you deserve, right? Some people could complain about if you fight this way or that way, but one thing you do, you fight good competition, you win, right? And that matters with the resume. Now you're on the pound for pound list. I think that Ryan Garcia is more sexy because it moves you up to another level. Obviously, all the stuff you guys have, with the bad blood. But do you ever look at that as far as what's more important to Devin Haney now in your career?
Yeah, I mean the Ryan Garcia fight is the biggest fight in boxing in my opinion. It does so much for me and in my career, my resume. But like I said, he has to be realistic in these negotiations. I'm not here to just take anything to get back. Whatever. Ryan Garcia, when the ball was in his court, he didn't make weight. He showed up with a positive drug test. It was all over the place. So we're not gonna do it like that time around. We're gonna do it the right way. And so if he doesn't want to do it the right way, then we'll move on. Like I said, we'll go on to fight the guy that beat him and the guy that he doesn't want to rematch. He's not screaming Rolly's name.
That's true.
So, like I said, if that is the case, then we go on and we fight Rolly. And if Ryan Garcia wants to get realistic, then we can make that fight happen now or later.
Yeah, I love the way you handle yourself. You and your dad handle your whole career so far, Devin. That's the way a fighter should handle his career. But I did have criticism after the Norman fight that I wanted to address with you directly, and I'm curious about it. I mean, it's great the way you fought him. I thought the way you looked in your previous fight, Devin could lose this fight. You not only fought him, you dominated him. You could see some guys' bodies are ready to move up. It looked to me like you should probably have moved up years ago based on how good you looked at welterweight. You looked big, strong, fast. I knew you could box. But over the second half of the fight, to me, you were kind of sitting on the lead. And to me, holding, yes, there's a strategic point of view there, right? You get the win. But why stop boxing when you were boxing, you were dominating, right? You were completely dominating.
Yeah.
Then when you start to sit on the lead, it's like you stop dominating. Why would you stop boxing really over the second half and just kind of, because you were holding him more and all that kind of stuff? How do you respond to that?
No, I wasn't doing the holding. It was him that was doing the holding. If you go back and look at the fight, he initiated a lot of the clinches. Yep. But it's all experience. You learn from it. I do think that I could have got the stoppage if I would have pressed on the gas a little bit more. But I was listening to my corner and just staying disciplined. And it is what it is. We move on to the next. Let's not forget, that was a fight that a lot of people picked me to lose,
including me. By the way, based on the way you looked against Ramirez, incling me. That's true. Right, and you dominated.
Yeah, exactly. So you cannot be critical of it if you picked the guy to beat me, and which a lot of people actually picked the guy to not only beat me, to knock me out. So that's a fight that I dominated. In my opinion, I think I won almost every round.
Yes.
Some rounds I gave away.
Yeah.
Because it's a 12-round fight. It's all experience. But at the end of the day, I went in there and I bullied the bully. I got the win, and I'm champion again,
Guys,
and I'm back where I need to be.
Everything Devin said is true. And I want other fighters to watch the way Devin just responded to that question. Devin Haney just dominated a fighter who I picked against him, right? And then I asked him a question which has a little negative spin to it, right? It's like, hey, instead of talking about all the good things he did, I picked out the one thing I had criticism about him and asked him about it. He answered the question. Yeah. He spoke truthfully. It is true. He did not initiate all those clinches, number one. And number two, I did pick against him, so he dominated the fight and won. Right. But number three, it's also a learning experience, and he does think he could have stopped them. Money. That's when I say handle yourself, Devin, this is what I'm talking about. Not just inside the ring, outside the ring too. I'm sorry, you guys had follow-ups.
Well, Devin, one person who did get the fight right was me, of course. I said you were going to dominate, so thank you for making me look good, because I have got my fair share of picks wrong, as Max likes to remind me. And
just ask me, I got you.
You mentioned that Ryan Garcia needs to be realistic in these negotiations with you. How have the talks gone so far, and how has he been unrealistic?
Yeah, I mean, the talk hasn't gone far because, the first thing he said was, I actually DM'd him, and I told him that, let's start really negotiating and start getting these things going. And the first thing he said was, "Hey, I'm just letting you know I'm the A side." I'm like, we haven't even started really negotiating to even say what's an A side or a B side. And everybody knows what if His Excellency Turkey Al-Sheikh is going to put up the fight, then it's really no A side or B side. You know, you get what you get, and you go your way. I go
And you
my
don't
way.
get
I don't care
upset.
what,
I just said that. I just said that. It's turkey money. What are we talking about?
the deals are so lucrative that you don't really care about. I never asked what Brian Norman is getting or what Ramirez is getting. It's because I'm happy with what I'm getting. So it does not matter, really. So I feel like that was just a way to I don't know if it was mind games or if it was just I don't know. I don't know what his angle was at it, but like I said, it just wasn't realistic. And at the end of the day, if we're talking about A side, I'm the guy who's number one in the division. I'm the guy who beat the best guy in the division. He beat the worst guy in the division. I'm the guy on the pound for pound list. So if anybody's the A side, it's me.
Well, what are your thoughts of the fight of Ryan against Barrios? What's your opinion on what you see from Ryan?
I thought it was a good fight. I thought that Ryan did exactly what he was supposed to do. I sparred with Barrios many times, so I'm very familiar with Barrios. He's there for the taking, and Ryan did exactly what he was supposed to do.
I want to step out and talk about Bill, right? We can't have Devin Haney on the show and we don't talk about Bill Haney. Bill is my favorite dude in boxing for the
of all the fight fathers, he did it the best,
bro.
Right? Yeah.
For real,
a lot of good fight fathers in boxing nowadays, but
Bill
probably
though.
leading the class. Yeah,
but for me, it's different because Bill was obviously he's entertaining, he's funny and all that, but he really cares about his son and his kids in general, all of y'all. But I want to say about Bill is we've seen different trainers, right? That are fathers that maybe they probably have the best interest for their son, but they don't have the balls. You know what? Let me step off. Let me do this. Let me do that. He said something interesting. He said that he blamed himself for the Ryan Garcia, the first fight. Once he knew everything was going on, he said, I wish I would have did things differently. That way we might not have had the issues with him, getting caught for doping, et cetera. Even in the weight, right? With him being so much bigger.
Yeah.
What is the relationship between y'all as far as like making the decisions? Obviously you're your own boss. He always says that, but when certain things, like how do you guys navigate that? Like what should I do, what I shouldn't do? Is it more what Bill says or what you say? How do y'all work that out together?
Yeah, I mean, I trust my father. He's my manager for a reason, and he got me to this point. So, I let him, make the decisions. If it's something that I don't agree with, of course, we have a conversation, and we, sometimes we agree to disagree, and we, sometimes, we go my way or we go his way. But we got a very good business relationship, and we know how to keep our business relationship from our when our personal our personal relationship. So that's what's good about it, and that's what's unique about it.
Yeah, Devin, you said something that struck me before. You said that you DM'd Ryan. Do you guys not have each other's numbers? Do I have to create a group text with everybody and get this going?
I probably have his number, but I just DM'd him because it was just easier. But I probably do have his number though.
Okay, all right, just making sure. And look, when I was at the fight, Ryan Garcia and Vargas, after the fight, I ran into Teofimo Lopez, and of course, you and Tio were, almost done for the deal. I think you had agreed on the deal last August for the fight. Tio, it fell apart at the last second. I know that was frustrating to you. Now he's going to your weight class where you're number 147. Obviously, he's coming off the loss to Shakur, but he told me that he still wants that fight with you. Is that still interesting to you?
I mean, yeah, it's very interesting because that was a fight that I signed for. I didn't just agree to it. I signed. I thought that it was almost done. We were just waiting on his signature. He agreed to his terms. I agreed to my terms. And then in the last second, he pulled out of it and went another way. So right now that's just not a fight that I'm willing to entertain. Just because of those things. He left me just standing there with my. I'm not gonna say it, but yeah, he.
No, you're over your limit for today, Chris. Hey, Devin.
But
Devin, let me ask you about the Ryan Garcia situation because I haven't had a chance to ask you since the fight. You're undefeated going into the fight. You beat Lomachenko. Against Brian Norman is not the first time I picked against you, and you won the fight. Like you beat Lomachenko. You always fought everybody. You did it all the right way. You made weight. You tested clean. But he didn't, and he didn't. And as a result, he knocks you down, and on that night came away with the win. Like whatever happens ex post facto, meaning after the fact, You had to go through that experience and everything it does to you emotionally and everyone who sees it in the moment. How do you feel about everything that happened?
Yeah, I mean, it made me wiser. It made me a better fighter. Of course, I hate that it happened. I hate that it went that way. But I definitely feel like it brought the best out of me. And some people with that if that happened to them, it's either gonna make you or break you. Right. And like I said, it wasn't easy. But I came out on top. It made me better, and I just used it as an experience. And that's why I knew that a guy like Brian Norman just couldn't beat me because just what I've been through. My experience, I feel like the worst could already happen already. So when I go into these fights, I feel like that was the worst that could happen. And pretty much I just go in there with that mindset, and I feel like no one can beat me.
Experience is the best teacher. Before we let you go, Devin, we understand you have a special announcement you'd like to make. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be on the show, March 9th, and it's gonna be my first show with you guys. So I look forward to joining the crew.
And by the show, he means this show inside the ring. Devin Haney's going to be sitting right there where Chris Arreola is sitting. And Chris already used up all the curses for this show and next show, but we don't have to worry about Devin. Devin,
I'm sorry, Chris.
Yeah.
My bad, bro.
Devin will know. That's why we have to take you off next show. Too many curses. Man. We have to put that.
I was gonna say a curse word for you, but
you're in timeout next week, Chris.
Hey, Devin, let me ask you one more question before we let you go, though. Because I watched that fight. Yeah. First of all, I was at the fight with you and Ryan, right? You know the type of bet I bet on you. Right? We'll talk about that later. I got a bet. But as I watched that fight and I watched some of your other fights since that, you look different. And I'm thinking, what's one thing, and I know you might fight Ryan, so I don't want to give up too much, but what's one thing that if you fought Ryan again, right, or you take from that last fight, what's something that you wouldn't have been doing or wouldn't have done?
I think that I came into that fight overconfident. I think that, I just felt like a guy like Ryan couldn't beat me. I thought that I was just gonna run over him. I didn't take him as serious as I should have. And I'm not saying in training camp or anything like that, because I always work hard. I always push myself to the limit. But I think that I just mentally was overlooking him. And it's like I said, it's all experience, and it is what it is.
See the way Devin Haney just answered that question, guys. Not to talk about you like you're not here, Devin, but. What someone could have said is, what I learned is, don't let the other guy come in 3.5 pounds over the weight, and on PEDs, right? But he didn't. But the point is, Devin, that's not where your mind went first. Your mind went to your own responsibility for what happened in the ring and the things that you could have controlled as a fighter that you could do better, and that's the championship mentality. And Devin Haney's bringing that to this show next week. We look forward to it, Devin.
Yes, sir.
Always good talking.
Bring Bell too, though.
Hey, by the way, let Cop know what your coffee order, because he gets the coffee. He'll have your coffee ready, whatever you need. Or whatever that is, your green juice or whatever it is.
That order,
only for Devin. I'm not bringing any for anyone else.
But they actually friends, though. He the only one that won't beat up Mike.
All right, thank you, Devin.
No, Mike is my man.
Yeah, Devin Haney, an easy fighter to root for.
Come on, man. That was a good dude.
Coming up, another easy fighter to root for. Ring Magazine Cruiserweight Champion Jai Opetaia joins the show. This is Inside the Ring.
Every fighter here is going to fight as hard as he can.
My people are here from LA, baby. It's a dream come true, and I've been training hard. I feel like I've been working towards this. I earned it, not giving it to them. I'm knocking people out. I'm making people see me.
Welcome back to Inside the Ring. Max, Chris, Cop, Shady, and joining us now, the Ring Magazine Cruiserweight Champion of the world, the #1 guy in the division, Jai Opetaia. Jai, thanks for joining us.
What's going on, boys? How are you?
Good. Thank God. By the way, thank God for Jai, because we were at an event. We were in the same place, and Jai, I can't take doing small talk with people. Right? It's just socially so exhausting. You're sitting around, you don't know what to say. Jai is there. It looked to me like you were in the same position. I got to hang out with Jai for a little while. We talked and everything. But Jai, was I putting you in that position? Were you like thinking, oh man, this guy's making small talk with me? Like, stop, please.
A little bit.
Little bit.
No, I'm joking, bro.
Little bit.
It was good to speak, bro. You know, I've been a fan of the show, so it's and people that respect the sport, so it was a good chat.
So your first Zuffa title fight is this Saturday against Brandon Glanton. Brandon Glanton brings it, by the way. That's going to be a great fight. Why did you decide to sign with Zuffa Boxing?
I feel like it was just the perfect fit, man. You know, I feel like Zuffa Boxing just got a lot to prove, and they're going to be moving at a fast pace. You know what I mean? They're going to want to get these big fights over the line and prove that they mean business. So, you know, that's been my motto since day one. So I feel like this point of my career and, you know, just moving towards that greatness it just fit perfectly.
Jai, hope all is well. Look, it looks like you've been on like a world tour these past few weeks, right? I saw you doing something with the Raiders. You did something with the Rugby Association from Australia being in Vegas. It's been a whirlwind. How has it been for you? Has your name gotten so much bigger already in the U.S.?
Yes, it is.
It has, bro. But you know, we've always got to train them first. You know what I mean? We've been training, going to events, back to training, going to more events. So it sort of just comes with the job. You know what I mean? But I'm here to get a fight done. You know what I mean? I'm here for business. So, you know, it is what it is. I got to do these appearances, but you know, I have not taken my eye off the goal.
We seen you with Benavidez having a good conversation with him. Would you want to fight someone like Benavidez, or are you waiting to move up and eventually fight someone like Usyk?
No, man, I'm chasing undisputed. You know what I mean? And until I tick that undisputed box, or you know, get these unification fights, then you know, the heavyweight chapter's further down the track. You know what I mean? I feel like there's no rush for me, and just because everyone keeps bringing up the heavyweight, it's you know, and even putting my name with Usyk, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's just a bit unrealistic, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not just gonna say his name and chase him disrespectfully just for clout. You know, like if that fight did come up, you know, who obviously, you know, who would turn that fight? I'm not going to sit here and try and disrespect someone that's done so much for the sport just to get my name out there. You know what I mean? I'll carry my name on
like,
my
in
own
other words,
back.
your clout is going to come from your legacy building that you do.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Bro, when they see me, they see Joe Opataya, one of the best boxers in the world. You know, I'm not here to chase fame or someone else, or, you know, chase names for clout. I'm chasing undisputed. Even Benavidez, you know, his name's only in the mix is because he's fighting for a cruiserweight title. So if it wasn't fighting for a cruiserweight title, it doesn't bother me. I don't chase names. I'm chasing legacy and undisputed. You know, not look at the last couple undisputed fighters. They're the fucking goats of this sport.
Yep, that's right.
You know what I mean? And I want my name up there, and I want my last name up there.
Man, Josh,
I like that.
Josh mean business though. That's why we love you in the States. So you talk about having fans in the States. I'm one of them. I want to ask this though, but how realistic is the fight with David Benavidez? Because it's like we're trying to always, you know, pick the right fights, right? And I think like even the Canelo versus Terrence Crawford, somehow they found that fight out where they both are GOATs type. Terrence Crawford wins. Now he's even up here. Look at Teofimo and Shakur Stevenson, right? Really, really great fighters. But after that win with Shakur, now he's looked at as one of the pound-for-pound guys. I think you're still in that boat where we all think you're a special fighter, right? But it's going to take that one fight to put you over that next hump. And is it realistic to see that against David Benavidez?
I believe it is, you know, especially him being in cruiserweight, you know. And to me, it just makes sense. Like, if he's fighting for a world title in my division, why don't people want to see who the best is in the division? Like, it doesn't not make sense to me if we don't fight. You know what I mean? Like, he's coming up fighting for a undisputed, like a unification fight, and he's going to be holding the WBO and WBA. It just doesn't make sense to me that we wouldn't fight. You know, all I got to do is keep winning and keep doing my job.
Jai, when I look at the history of the cruiserweights, which is now almost a half a century old, the two guys that are apart from everyone else are Holyfield and Usyk, because they did what you said. They beat everybody in the division, absolutely cleaned it out, became undisputed, became the guy, and then they moved up to heavyweight and created great heavyweight legacies. You are in a position now, not just with all these big names and big fights ahead of you, you know, but when I think about who could join them. You won the title by fighting one of the best in the history of the division in Briedis. You did it with a fractured jaw. Was it both sides of the jaw that were fractured? Because you couldn't close your jaw, and it was both sides, and it was in the third round. So you fought 9 rounds with a fractured jaw against one of the best who ever did it in the division to win the title. You're the longest reigning and most title defenses of the Ring Magazine Championship in cruiserweight history. Right? You're like, the other great cruiserweight, David Hay, for example, is a really terrific cruiserweight. But the two that set themselves apart were Holyfield and Usyk. And now you're at a crossroads in your career where you're starting to enter the territory where you could prove that you're the next guy who's mentioned like that. First, you have to beat Brandon Glanton in your Zuffa debut. You are not in soft. This dude brings it. What are your thoughts about Glanton and your debut with Zuffa, that fight? Like, how do you win?
Like you said, man, he brings it. He walks forward and he just makes it ugly. So it's about fighting smart. He's a tough, durable opponent, and we're prepared for that. So let's get in the trenches. Let's see how fucking deep he's willing to dig.
Right? I like that.
Because, Jai, you can box behind the southpaw jab, but you're a puncher with a fighter's mentality. By the way, this was Holyfield also, right? Like, he could outbox guys, but it just wasn't him. And sometimes when I watch you, I get the same feeling. Like, maybe Jai could make this an easier fight if he sticks to boxing, but when he gets hit, boy, he likes to get that lick back. Is that the kind of fight you just kind of hinted at with Glanton?
We box smart, we do our thing. We do what we need to do to win. If we've always got that punch on in the back of our pockets, you know what I mean? Like, we've been around this sport for a long time. Whenever it comes down to biting down on the mouth guard and having an absolute crack, then that's what we got to do, But it's picking the times to do it, knowing when to box, knowing when to be first, It's about adapting and having the ammunition to be able to adapt to anything he sort of brings, And that becomes of fitness and strength as well, Like, you got to be fit enough to be able to adapt to anything in the ring. So, man, I feel like I am. I feel like I'm ready. And I feel like you said, man, my skills outweigh him 100 to 1. So the only way he makes this ugly is if he just keeps pumping forward. So, how many fucking left hands can he eat?
I'm a fan, dude.
You won Chris over for sure.
Yeah, look, Jai, obviously you can box smart. There's no question about that. But you can also brutalize opponents. I mean, I don't think enough is made of your punching power. 3-0 last year, 3 knockouts. And you started the year off in January in Australia. That was a brutal knockout. And then the one you had in December, I mean, Hussein Sankar, he had a litany of injuries, fractured vertebrae. He unfortunately had brain bleed. I believe he's doing better now. But Brandon Glanton, like you said, he's going to have to come forward, and he's never been down. Is that going to change on on Sunday?
I don't know. You know what I mean? It's I believe if you chase the punch too much, you're going to make too many mistakes. So, we just got to fight smart, and the punches will come. And I believe the way I box as well, and my speed and my ability, a lot of people underestimate my power. You know what I mean? But they learn quick when I'm in the ring. So it's just about fighting smart, doing our thing. We're fucking born for this shit. We live for these moments. So we just got to prepare properly and deliver on fight day.
By the way, I never thought we'd have one segment. He's cursed already more than Chris Arreola in the whole show. That's pretty good, John. Yeah, no, Chris is happy. He's got someone on the show, right?
I'm very happy. I'm like, man.
Yeah. Chris, the only one who shows up like it's a fight show, like with the nose busted and the hand busted. Jai, in a perfect world, I know I'm not saying look past someone, and I know you don't look past opponents, but in a perfect world, is it Brandon Glanton? If Benavidez beats Zurdo, Benavidez, and then in a perfect world, is it Usyk? If you could map it out, are those would that be like, yes, that's exactly what I want my next 3 fights? Or are there more steps that I'm missing?
Good question.
I'm 1 week out from my fight. You know what I mean?
Today,
I'm just locked in on 8th of March. You know what I mean? I'm not thinking of anything else but getting the job done. If
Correct answer.
All these fights sound good and you can throw all these names around and it sounds like a fucking beautiful story, but unless I take care of business on the 8th, it all vanishes, and this is how my whole life has been. This is how my whole career's been. I've been having to prove myself all the time. We've never got anything given to us. You know, we'll come from Australia, and there's not many boys from our neck of the woods that make it here. You know, and I know it's one fucking slip up and it's gone. You know, so we are locked in. We are ready.
Oh, he's focused.
So whatever we got
he is focused, boy.
That's all we are.
I'm a fan.
Yeah, Jai, you know, I was just thinking, what I like about you, right, is that you're not like a lot of these other guys. You're not trying to dance around, dance to a song to the ring or joke around. You're here to fight and knock people out. Does it bother you when you fight these kind of guys that are trying to make kind of like a joke of it all?
Why? Who's trying to make a joke out of it? What do you mean?
Right, I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
There's just lots of guys in boxing.
We had a good interview. Jai just ended it on such a good note.
And now he's
he sounded
confused now.
like that's the eye of the tiger type answer. Everything's perfect. Perfect time to end the interview. And Mike Coppinger with the action. You got to know when to walk away, Mike. You got to know when to walk away.
Forgive our brother. Forgive our light-skinned brother with the ball here. Forgive us.
Yes, everyone's very excited that you're here. Jai Opetaia, great to have you on the show. Can't wait for Sunday night. Jai Opetaia, Brandon Glanton. By the way, everybody, Zuffa Championship debut, too. The inaugural Zuffa Championship belt. The best cruiserweight in the world. The Ring Magazine recognized cruiserweight champions fighting for it. Jai, we look forward to it. Great to have you on. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time, boys. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm a fan.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, you made
good dude.
All the dude's got to do is curse a few times.
Wait, can I? You know what? You said everything right though.
He did.
He spoke great. He very eloquent, and he said the right words.
To Chris's point, Shady, you'll appreciate this. Sometimes you'll listen to a quarterback talk at the press conference after the game.
Yeah.
And some guys are saying what he thinks the people want to hear, and this and that. And then other dudes, they say what they really think, and you're like, that ain't it.
Right.
But sometimes you get a guy there
Keep it real.
who authentically is exactly what you want to hear from your quarterback, right?
Yeah, you're right.
And those are the guys you're like, that dude right there.
That's my quarterback.
That is Jai Opetaia. Jai does not have to run anything through a thing in his head. They're asking the question, how do I answer this in a certain way? He just tells you exactly how he's feeling, and how he thinks about things is exactly what you want to hear from a fighter.
And I'm sitting in my seat, man, just trying to be as professional as possible. What the hell was you talking about? What guys messing around? Because I felt like you talking about the guys that come in there, they got the little rappers behind them.
Yes, that's exactly what I was saying.
What's wrong with that, Mike?
It's just a mockery, you know? I was just saying that Jai is not that kind of guy. Max was trying to joke with Jai, and he goes, all right, let's move on, boy. He's not a joking kind of guy.
Nah.
Roy Jones, I saw him on a reel recently, probably talking to Andre Ward, right? Talking about how at Radio City, he had meth and red, right?
Did you see it? I seen it, yes.
Yeah, and I was there. And HBO did not cover the rap portion of it because, I don't know, it was supposedly, I don't know, indecent, ridiculous, some absurd reason at the time, right? And Roy's point was, man, that was the first time, I think it was hip hop in Radio City Music Hall or something like that. So it depends, but it's Roy Jones.
It's called, you know what it's called?
I don't think he's talking about Roy Jones.
It's called, it ain't trying to be a mockery or nothing like that. It's called culture. It's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and I was making the point that Jai is not about that. Jai is about fighting and breaking.
He heard
different
some coded. He reacted to some coded language. Maybe you're thinking.
Like it's not wrong with that.
I think he just meant some fighters. You correct me if I'm wrong. Are all about it.
Yes.
And Jai's about it.
Listen, boxing is entertainment. I want to fight you. But
I want to see Shady fight already. You know, Shady's talking a lot about this and that.
He might want to fight you.
That's me.
What else is new?
The money's
the next guy. Everyone's fight cop.
I know his friends. I want to fight your boy.
Nah, no.
See that money.
On DAZN, the fights never stop. With the biggest nights in boxing all year long.
It has never been bigger for any fighter in the history of this country.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Every week, it's on. And join us ringside, the undisputed global home of boxing. Watch only on DAZN.
Welcome back to Inside the Ring. I'm Max. That's Chris. That's Cop. That's Shady. Before we get to Cop's Corner, now it all makes sense, Shady. You see, when I asked Jai a question, I was having a little fun with the fact he was cursing a lot, right? Mm-hmm. And what Cop said is he saw like Jai's face darken, like he was not happy with that question. Right. And so the way Mike interpreted it was he doesn't like fooling around. Like he's serious. He's about it, right? Okay. But Mike, because he's not trying to call me out, makes it about he did a weird, like you made it about a fighter. You should have just said that I did it and you didn't like it.
I was trying to show respect to the Max.
Yes, I get it.
Well, you don't show me that same respect. You just, I get it. I see what's going on.
I was watching you on TV when I was like, 10 years old. So.
Yeah. For somehow you don't respect him, right? Okay. All right, it's time for Cop's Corner. Cop, what's the latest with Ryan Garcia's hand injury?
Good news there, Max. I spoke to his manager, Guadalupe Valencia, and he said that right hand, he showed this to us, right, in the post-fight interview, was badly swollen. He avoided any serious damage. It's a light sprain, so he's going to be able to return to the ring, I'm told, in July, which makes a good time frame for him anyway. Hopefully in July we're seeing that big Devin Haney fight, but whatever it may be, that's what we're looking at, and it's good news.
Yeah, that is good news. Hey, Shady, given what happened in the first fight, yeah, Devin has a lot of motivation, but he did have to go through the whole thing where he did get knocked down. And he could be super motivated to get it back, but he could also be having to deal with some things.
I just think where Devin Haney is, he's a different fighter right now, right? More confident, and he won't sit in front of Ryan Garcia and not throw punches. Because I watched it. I asked him that question because I watched him, he in front of him and all that, and not throwing no punches. I think it'll be a little different.
I think it'll be a lot.
He'll change his game plan.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it'll be a lot different too. Some guy, Devin Haney, was a lightweight for way too long. He was clearly also a junior welterweight too long. He was not a lightweight. He's a welterweight, and he looked so much healthier, better, stronger, faster, everything at 47.
But Ryan, I think real quick, I think Ryan should stay away from that. I think he should stay from Devin Haney right now. Right, you got a great win, build off of that. And I think you should leave Shakur alone. Leave them two dudes alone, get a fight or two, and then go fight Devin or Shakur.
I think I agree with you actually about Ryan. Yeah. Ryan looked really good, and it's not just because of who was in front of him. His feet look good. Everything, he just looked good.
Combinations, yes.
So instead of rushing, but Ryan really likes making big events. He makes it happen. But maybe in this case, he needs another fight and then the big event. Just because he's on a good trajectory.
On the same page, Max.
So keep developing. It's a good point. Before we go, guys, a quick look at this week's DAZN boxing schedule. Some Thursday action in Montreal. Hard-hitting Stephen Butler facing Ramadan Hisseni. Then on Saturday, our guy, Gabriel Rosado. Gabriel Rosado. Gabe takes part in the main event of Misfits Duel 2 in Derby in the UK against Ty Mitchell. It's a light heavyweight bout. Rosado really at his best, Gabe was a junior middleweight. But that dude is a throwback fighter.
By the way, Max, speaking of A-side and B-side, you have to love it. Because Gabe has been on our show, on our graphic, we put him on the A-side, but on the actual graphic, he's on the B-side.
You see that fight, that record of his, 28-17?
Yeah.
But that's how it used to, don't get fooled by that, man. There's some guys Gabe is...
He wasn't protected,
The two things that stopped Gabe from being a champion, in my opinion, was, yes, he was not protected and he didn't have a deep amateur background. Yeah. But he's a real fighter, right? Gabe Rosado, that's a real fighter.
You got to protect him. But, he made his money fighting the bad guys of the division.
Yep.
He fought all of them.
Yeah, he did.
He fought all of them.
And at times when it would have been inadvisable, like when he fought Triple G. Triple G was killing everybody. Gabe was a junior middleweight.
Right.
Come
on, man.
Gabe makes good fights too. He gives you something to watch.
Great fights.
All right. That does it for us. For Cursing Chris Arreola, Mike Coppinger, and Shady McCoy, I'm Max Kellerman. Thanks for watching.